Okay everybody, here we are. I'm going to go ahead and get these wheels painted so we can get them back on the car. I have everything already masked up. As you can see, all four of them are already masked up, front and back. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and prime both sides of each wheel. Now you can see two of them were already painted gold. The wheels never got finished before the car got parked. So we're going to get them painted white primer, and then painted gold, and then clear coated. Then they'll be done, they can go back on the car. And as you can see, these are the authentic Enkei wheels that came with my car. Of course, it's quite breezy here today, so that isn't going to help painting at all. I chose to go with a white primer because that should help to highlight the gold as it's laid down. The wheels are not the best, but it'll definitely help with the sail. And it'll help protect the wheels from any further degradation. So, just got the initial coat on there. So let's see, with it being so breezy, this should dry fairly quick. And let's see about getting you guys set up so it'll be easier for me to paint. Always make sure to shake your cans here once in a while, or you're going to lose propellant before you lose paint. Okay, well, that's that for that can. Gotta let this dry, flip the wheels over, do the other side with another coat of primer. Alright, now we're on the outside of the wheels. Once I'm done here, I'll let this dry. I haven't decided whether I'm just going to let it cure some or just going to wait 24 hours before I paint it gold. Because that would be 3 days primer, paint, clear coat. And no, I'm not breaking out my paint gun to paint these wheels on a car that I'm selling. That's why I'm using spray paint. It is extremely humid today, so odds are I'll probably just let this cure until tomorrow, because when you sit and add layers and layers and layers of paint in a humid condition, it won't dry. It's not going to cure. It'll stay soft on the underside and never fully cure, and then it'll just flake off. You don't look too bad in white, but I want them gold. I think gold looks better against that maroon body. I probably could have used a self-etching primer on this, but I know how I did these wheels last time and it lasted, so I'm doing it the same way. Just SOS pads to kind of mildly scuff the surface as I'm cleaning them up, and then primer and paint. Now I have limited myself to 2 cans primer, 2 cans gold, 2 cans clear. So I'm trying to stick to that. I'm starting to get about right there. So we'll see, I guess. Ink is not cheap. This is a wheel rebuild in a can. And that's going to be it for the painting today. The astute of you may have noticed the lack of wheel weights. Now, the reason being is because I didn't want to paint over the wheel weights because they come off when new tires go on. So you pull it off and all of a sudden there's bare metal under the weight. Doesn't look good. So what I did was I took the weights off. I have a weight puller. And this is a wheel weight tool. It's used for grabbing the weights and pulling them off the tires. Now what I did was on this side of the tires, there's weights I have sitting here. Those are for the back sides. The weights on this side are for the top sides of the tires. And then all I did was take some white out and put a little dab on the tire itself. That way I know this weight, you know, I look for the dot, this weight just goes right there, and I hammer the weight back in. So the weights will go right exactly where they came off of. Just one way to do it. But this is done for now. We'll see what it's like. I guess it'll depend on what it's like in a few hours, because like I said, it's humid. It is crazy humid out here, and the paint is going to take much longer to dry and cure in this level of humidity. So we'll see what it's like later. If it's dry, we can go ahead and paint. Otherwise, just wait till tomorrow and go on to the gold then. Okay everybody, I think the paint is dry, or I should say I think the primer is dry enough for us to at least set down one coat of gold, possibly two. And I think we're going to start on the front of the wheels this time. Like I said, I am shooting for 2 cans of paint only. 2 primer, 2 gold, 2 clear. That way, if I for some reason run a little thin on gold on the insides of the wheels, it won't be as big of an issue as if it was on the outside where it's very visible. So if we can get these outsides done, then it's just a matter of doing whatever we can for the inside. Now I know light is not perfect later on. I think it's about 4:30 up here in the wonderful state of Minnesota, where at 4:30 the sun is just above the treetops. But anyways, I think we should go ahead and get started on the paint and see how it looks. Now this is a gold metallic, so again, as with any paint, first coat is a light coat, second and on coats are your actual regular heavy coats. There is one thing about gold that is actually up for debate, and that is whether you are supposed to clear gold paint. Some people say that clearing gold paint will actually make it less bright. As for that, boy, it'd be nice if this wind would go away. I'm not exactly sure what to say about that, because I have actually done gold wheels before on other vehicles, and I have cleared them. If anything, they might be a little less reflective, more of a satin kind of gold, I guess, but I haven't really noticed it. I mean, it's gold. A lot of people think that real gold is actually reflective, and it's not. Real gold is more of a satin color, where it's not super shiny. Gold is not shiny until it's polished. If you look at some of the gold wheels on the Subaru WRXs and stuff like that, that's more of a gold satin too. And I guess what I'm trying to say is, You know, it's kind of up to the paint. Different paint and different clears react differently to each other. And as such, you don't really know until you try it. But that's true with any paints. Once you clear something, it may not have the same look as it did before you cleared it. And one of the reasons that I'm going to clear these is because most wheels should be cleared, for the simple fact that it is much easier for them to be cleaned once they're cleared. It's kind of like putting wax on a car. Paint has a natural adherence. So when you get stuff like brake dust on your wheels, brake dust adheres to it and binds it and scuffs it up, but clear coat is kind of like a magnetic opposition. So a lot of things will actually just wash right off. Now, I'm going to be painting my wheels on my Charger too. I'm not going to be going crazy with them. I actually just want to paint the outer rings. And that's because those outer rings are actually in really, really super bad shape. So cleaning them and painting them isn't really gonna make it any worse than it already is. Now, the one paint you actually do have to be extremely careful with is clear, because clear runs. And if you get a run in the clear, it's just a giant headache, because you have to let it dry, then you have to sand it out, and then you have to start over. So, although primer usually doesn't run very much, metallic paints don't run very much either. Some regular paints do. Clear, you have to be extremely careful with. So, when I say make that first coat light on a clear, oh yeah. Because if you start messing with that, you may end up with a bigger headache than you want to deal with. And some of you may have also noticed that the valve stem on this particular wheel is quite a bit longer than the rest. And that isn't from me. That's the valve stem that was in here. The rest of the valve stems are short. I don't want the headache of dealing with tires right now. Yes, I have a hand use tire machine. They're a pain. Honestly, they are. Are they worth the money to buy one? No. Are they worth the money to buy one and modify it? Yeah. Is it worth it to just go onto a place like Marketplace or Craigslist and look for an actual used tire machine? You're probably better off doing that if you have the space and the availability, because you can usually pick up a good used tire machine for like $500. Even balancers are around that price. At least up here they are. Now, brand new, of course, they're not that price. But used ones, you can pick them up for good deals. And I just don't want to deal with that valve stem. That means popping the bead, pushing the tire down, trying to fish that valve stem out, put the new one in, and it's just a bigger headache. And you know what, when the new owner gets new tires put on, they'll probably get new valve stems, so it's out of my hands at that point in time. Now see, I can already feel this can getting light, and that's a problem, because if it's getting light right now, I may have to break my plan and do 2 coats on the fronts and 1 coat on the back, because I honestly don't know if this is going to hold out. In which case, that would mean having to get more paint, and that means going into town. Which I really don't like doing if I can avoid it. Now you see me spraying these centers at different angles, and that's because I'm trying to get the pockets for the lug nuts to be completely covered. I will say, when it comes to painting with metallics, I absolutely love it, because the metallics lay down so flat. I've never had problems with, really big problems with runs or anything like that when I'm painting with metallics. And there's a different consistency to the paint or whatever they add to it to make it metallic. That is not in the regular paint. Of course, once you start getting down, you can feel it as the can gets lighter. The one thing I would always say is that to make sure you're paying close attention. The lower the paint gets in the can, the more chances you have for splatters, sputters, and runs, because the paint comes out differently once you get towards the bottom. And make sure you're constantly checking edges or anything that you want to make sure it's painted. Once you pull that tape off, it's going to be a lot harder to fix the problem than it is to just sit and take a minute and look at different angles. Is that painted? Yep. Is that? Oh, I missed a spot. Do it while the tape is on. Well, I didn't expect this can to last this long with how it's emptying, but you know what? I may just make it. And if you have light shining down and you can't see, get in front of the light and block it. That way you can look. See, I got light coming down on this one that's just right in my face, unlike those two. So it's harder to make sure I'm hitting all the edges. But you know what? I'm spraying in a ventilated area, the outside. Oh, she's getting down there. Now is when I have to make sure I'm watching, because I don't want bubbles or spittles or anything like that. Yep, it's not going to make it, but it's going to be close. So I think I might just make it with 2. If the wind would stop blowing, of course. Wind, please. And I have also found it's actually much easier to empty a can of metallics. With others, they seem to leave a little bit of paint in the bottom, but these usually empty out pretty darn good. Yeah, that's it. And all that was left is to paint the insides of the spokes. Not too much. But then, wait for these to dry and flip them over, or at least start to cure. Flip them over and paint the inside races. Now, again, this is the reason I started with the outsides. I'm not sure this is going to cut it, but because I don't have to change angles and do this and do that and do this, I'm just basically painting the inside of the ring. You never know, I might get away with it. I don't know if you guys know this or not, and I'm not sure. Let's see, maybe I got a better one with a better example. It's about the same. I don't know if you guys can see on top here, you see a tiny black dot that's painted onto the metal. You gotta try to line your nozzle up with that black dot. That's done by the manufacturer, and that's where the manufacturer says that the sprayer will spray its best, is when those two are lined up. Alright, looking good. So, next step is going to be to paint the insides. And I'm wondering if maybe I should take the chance, flip the wheels over and do that now. That way I can clear coat them tomorrow during midday. I moved the wood out, so the wheel will be on the rubber. It won't be on the spoke, so it's not going to touch. If I flip it over now, I might be able to finish painting and then flip them back over, and then it can just dry. I'll cover it up tonight. That way it doesn't get any water spotting or anything like that from the dew overnight. Alright, you guys talked me into it. Okay, so that's right about there. So yeah, I was right. So it's just basically a direct flip over. don't really like rushing paint, but I think it can be done. So I'm going to take the chance. Okay, let's continue on. Let's find out if this one can is enough to finish all the rest of the insides. It's gonna be close. I tell you what, it's gonna be close. Mitsubishi Enkei, made in Thailand, 16 by 6, offset of 46 inches. 46 inches. Offset of 46. So when you're looking for wheels, you got to know those numbers. You got to know the numbers for the wheels for your vehicle. You got to look up what your vehicle is supposed to run with, and then you can modify it from there on a little bit, but you got to know where you're starting from. Hands getting tired. If I had more space, I'd go grab one of my triggers. They make triggers for the cans, but it's already tight enough in here without trying to add more to the can. If I can get these cleared tomorrow, then I can let the paint cure for like 24, 48 hours. And it'll get its hardest before I go ahead and put these on. Maybe I'll just leave them off the car until it's ready. Because I still gotta put new brake lines on it and do exhaust work on it. I gotta order the flex hose for the exhaust. I might just do the longer section because I think that's the only part that's leaking. I got a shorter section right under the engine that not in the best shape, but I don't think it's leaking. I was under there and I checked it out. I don't think it's leaking. So if I can just replace the one section of flex that's about that long and then make new brake lines, fix the wheels, clean up the brakes, I mean, she's almost ready to go. And this car will be, well, when I'm done with it, it'll be $3,000 all day long. But we'll see what people are willing to offer. But I'm not skimping out on this car because I know what this car is capable of. Kitty, kitty, kitty. Kitty, kitty, kitty. Ass clown. I named that outdoor cat Ass Clown. There she is. Hi, Ass Clown. I don't know, I just thought it suited her. You know, yeah. Just cat shows up on my farm. I'm not letting her in the house, but she can be outside and be a mouser and have the dog house if she wants. Yeah. Hi, Ass Clown. Yeah. Yeah. Do you want people to see you? Kitty, kitty, Ass Clown. Meow, meow. Yeah? Come here. Hi. This is Ass Clown. She just showed up at my front door one day. And, you know, am not a cat person, not in the least. But if she's willing to keep the mice at bay that's out here, she can stay. Yeah? Which she seems to be doing a fairly good job of, because I haven't had any rodent issues lately. Stupid fall allergies. I give her some tuna or some salmon or whatever, some food, but she's an outside cat, so I don't know where she came from. Probably was just another drop off. Or some stupid farmer got her as an outside cat and she wandered off and got lost. Well, we're getting down there, guys. I don't know. It's gonna be close. I don't know. Sounding pretty empty, guys. That can is officially empty. Anything left in here. You see what I was doing there was by kind of getting the paint to flow again, because when I was doing this it wasn't coming out, just air. I think I did it, guys. Just hope I don't find that other center cap. I do have one of the center caps that's MIA. So if I find that, I'm kind of in trouble, because I ain't got any more paint. So that'll be it for right now. We're going to go ahead and clear coat these tomorrow. Okay, everybody, here we are. Time for the clear coat. And as I said, clear is very easy to run. It's also very easy to not be able to see, because it's clear. Not sure what that line is there. Have to wait till this dries. It is possible that it may not be fully cured yet. It is extremely humid, so I'm hoping that's not the problem. Otherwise, those lines are now part of the paint. This could be thinning out the gold coat. That was a tree branch you just heard falling down and almost hitting my wheel. Alright, we are going to let that cure, or at least set up, and we'll see what it's like once it starts to set. Okay everybody, it's time for a second coat. Alright, I had to get one of my sprayers. I don't know what's up, but I'm having some tendon problems in this arm right now. Sure, it'd be nice if this wind would stop. Leave the rest of what's in this can for the insides, since it's not going to matter as much as the outsides. I am probably wasting a fair amount of paint out here, but you may be wondering why I'm putting so much effort into the wheels and the body and everything else and cleaning it, but a clean car is just as important as how it runs if you want to sell it, because nobody wants a car that runs good and looks like crap. At least not now anyways. Maybe in the past they did, but now they want both. They want the car that looks good and runs good. So the more I put into making the car look good and run good, the more money I'm gonna get. I think I can actually probably ask $3,000 for the car with all the upgrades I'm doing to it. I'll probably even put my stereo system back in it, because that'll probably get me more money too. So I think with everything I'm doing, it'll increase the value of the car in the end. So sometimes you gotta work to make that money. Now once this dries enough, it can be they can be flipped over and spray the inside. This side is done finally. We'll come back to this because I think what I want to do is, since the sun is out, I'm going to let this paint sit and cure in the sun. Okay, now we're going to get the insides finished up and painted, and that'll be that. Might be easier if I paint the center first and work my way out so I'm not bumping up against fresh paint. Sure, it'd be nice if this wind calmed down. But instead it amped up. Alright, that's it. Now, of course, after I painted all this, I did find the last center cap. So this is going to have to be painted separately, then put in the last wheel. Because this one, this one, and this one all have them. This one doesn't. So I'm not gonna bore you with painting this, since you've already seen this. We'll let this dry, and then we'll peel it, all the tape off, put the weights back on, and the wheels will be done, waiting to go on the car. Okay everybody, so that's it for the wheels. I didn't mean for the video to go as long as it did, but it's really hard to do something like painting wheels without showing you different steps, and I actually cut that video down to maybe a quarter or a third of what it was. It took a lot of work and a lot of time to paint the wheels. So even at its current length, it's short. I really didn't find very many areas to make it shorter. Honestly, I don't even know how this video is going to do. But I guess we'll find out. And I did the video because it's a part of the restoration of the car, and it's kind of hard to take a look at the car and be like, oh, what happened to the wheels? Well, they were painted. But anyways, they are on the car now. It is about a week later from when I painted the final coat. I've let it cure. I've let everything sit outside and bake in the sun. And I have them on the car because I'm going to be getting the car out of the barn relatively soon. And well, I guess that's that. There's a few other things left to do on the car. Exhaust, O2 sensor, spoiler, a few other odds and ends, I guess. Putting in the windshield wiper cowl and putting the wipers on, putting the blower motor in. A handful of little parts, and all that will be on one video, and that will be the final video on the car before it gets the boot out of the barn. So remember to subscribe and like, turn on notifications, post a comment, because that really helps the YouTube algorithm understand that you want to see me and my videos. And I will see all of you guys in a little while.